Hey everyone, this is a really quick remote. I took a couple days off. I had a terrible stomach bug, but I'm okay now. Yeah, I wanted to give this remote the last couple of days. I've had a lot of people asking me about the midterms. People are worried that the Democrats are going to lose the midterms. People are especially worried about the Senate in Georgia, etc. And for this meditation, I was using the heart-centered remote viewing technique. I was using the long form. And I decided to put myself in the shoes of Joe Biden. I also decided to put myself in the shoes of the Democratic Party. And then I did a long form meditation and asked myself, what do we need to do in order to win in 2022 and beyond? And I have to say, some of the answers I got back were pretty surprising, but I'm going to go ahead and give you some of the answers today. The first thing I felt as somebody that was frustrated with Joe Biden, somebody who was an independent, who had voted for Republicans in the past and had voted for Biden this time, is I felt angry and frustrated that he was disconnected from our situation, that he had basically abandoned us and become a politician. I didn't feel like he was talking to us. I didn't feel like he was communicating with us. I felt like every time I see him, it's on a podium giving a press conference, which for me, as the independent, I'm thinking I'm an empath, so I'm putting myself in the shoes of the other, the person that is on the fence about the Democrats. This person feels that they are abandoned. They feel that the current administration is not listening to them. There's a disconnect. I really feel that this is a time when Democrats have got to put the emotion aside and stop being defensive and stop attacking Republicans as a means of winning an election. I'm not talking about investigations. I'm saying objectively what the Democrats have to do is put emotion aside and instead begin focusing on the idea, what can we do in order to communicate with the people who feel that they have been abandoned? One of the things that Franklin Delano Roosevelt did during the New Deal is that he would have fireside chats. A lot of the presidents would have these fireside chats. It wasn't a press conference. They weren't sitting around with the press answering questions. They weren't standing there in front of a podium like a politician. They were sitting by a fire, talking like an elder leader, statesman, the parent that you can trust, the benevolent, kind father who understands your suffering, is there to support you, is discussing the issues that are affecting you in everyday life, and is letting you know, I'm here, I'm listening, I support you. And that disconnect is the biggest problem I feel when I put myself in the shoes of the person that's angry with the president and is giving him low marks. I feel as that person that he is not talking to me, that he doesn't see me, that he doesn't see the poverty, the fact that people are living in their cars, that people are homeless, that people can't afford their health insurance, they can't afford their pharmaceuticals, that they're too sick to go back to work, that they're depressed, that the wages are depressed, that people are sick from COVID, that all of the problems that are affecting Americans, they don't feel that this president is talking directly to them, seeing their situation. That needs to change. If this president is going to improve his ratings, he has to be able to have those fireside chats on a regular basis where he is tuning in one-on-one with the people that are struggling in this country and talking directly to them, the people in West Virginia, the people in parts of the Midwest who feel that they are forgotten, the forgotten people, frustrations even in cities that we would think of as progressive, Seattle's homeless crisis, Portland's homeless crisis, San Francisco's homeless crisis. This is the first part of the remote. The second part of the remote surprised me, and that had to do with this idea of executive orders, that this president has to begin to look at the situation in this country as an emergency, that the homeless situation in this country is an emergency, just like we are at war. We are at war with the virus. He's talked about this. And so this is the time where he needs to stop trying to get Republicans on board, because they do not represent the majority of Americans. What the American people want is they want relief. And so that means that he needs to stop trying to make people happy in Congress, and he needs to plow ahead with executive orders, because this is an emergency. And so talking directly to the American people, speaking regularly and communicating with them every step of the way, not in press conferences, one-on-one, fireside chats. I care about you, I see you. And then he needs to back it up with executive orders that deal with the hunger crisis, that deals with the homeless crisis, that deals with the medical emergencies. Those two things have to happen, and they have to happen now. In terms of winning Congress and the Senate, the same thing has to happen with people that are trying to win the hearts and minds of their constituents. They need to stop being politicians, and they need to start presenting themselves as human beings that genuinely care about the well-being of Americans. And then aggressive executive orders and aggressive actions need to take place now to deal with this crisis. And the fact that that has not happened, there may be great things happening secretly, meetings happening, policies happening, but the American people are not being spoken to. They're left in the dark. And that is really what is killing this administration. It's not that they aren't doing great work. It's that, number one, there needs to be more executive orders, and there needs to be more dealing with it now, ASAP, and there needs to be more one-on-one with the American voters. If this kind of warm, compassionate communication with the constituents, Biden is his best when he shows his empathy and his compassion, when he talks about how Americans are hurting. We've had over 840,000 Americans have died due to COVID. This is an emergency, and if there was any time in American history that requires executive orders and for us to begin to treat the current situation in America like an emergency, that is now. Bypass Congress. They don't represent the majority of Americans. Go directly to executive orders, push through, and go directly to the American people. And if he does that, his numbers will increase, and we have a chance of winning in 2022. I would also say, when it comes to debating, stop attacking the Republicans, because you could be attacking somebody who could change their vote if you can speak about what they need, jobs in their area, the issues that are happening in their area. We need to focus a lot on community activism and really acting like we care about the people in these communities. Stop attacking the Republicans and stop blaming the Republicans every time something goes wrong in this country. Instead, get to work, reach out, build relationships, build community, and let's start dealing with the problems like they're an emergency. And I'd like to see, when I go into this meditation, more executive orders, more aggressive hands-on work directly to the people. If we do those things, this could be a very great presidency. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.